Remember those lawsuits filed by investors against CD Projekt Red a while back that eventually merged into one giant mecha lawsuit, accusing the company of misleading the entire population of our sweet and pure planet Earth into believing Cyberpunk 2077 would be something it most definitely did not turn out to be? Looks like it's been settled out of court. CDPR, according to every news outlet under the sun, have rounded up their best minds and somehow managed to reach a settlement amount, and the number may surprise you. $1.85 million is the total of the settlement money, and while that is surprisingly low, what really intrigued me about this whole situation was some of these stipulations set in place by our friends over there in CDPR. Here's a quote from the official statement released by CD Projekt Red. It says, quote, "In the framework of negotiations concerning a potential settlement agreement in a case pending before the United States District Court for the Central District of California, hereinafter referred to as the Court, a proposal regarding key terms, which, if agreed upon, would provide the basis for a prospective written settlement agreement, was officially formulated on 7th December 2021. According to these terms, members of the class, including the plaintiffs, would relinquish all claims against the company and members of its management board. Furthermore, under the agreement, a settlement in the amount of $1,850,000 US would be paid out to the class by the company and its insurer, Colonnade Insurance SA." End quote. So I know this is literally the entire point and goal CDPR have been fighting for, but the whole relinquishing all claims against the company bit just leaves me with a really bad taste in my mouth. It comes across as them still avoiding any and all blame. They're still willing to die behind that philosophy of we did nothing wrong, even after that whole apology video fiasco. Jesus, that was a while ago, but it feels like it happened yesterday evening. Anyway, my point is, bottom line of this controversy, and supposedly this entire lawsuit, was to hold CDPR accountable for the misinformation and misrepresentation of the game's final state. To get even more specific, Kotaku copied down the actual lawsuit accusations in their article, and it says, quote, 1. Cyberpunk 2077 was virtually unplayable on the current generation Xbox or PlayStation systems due to an enormous number of bugs. 2. As a result, Sony would remove Cyberpunk 2077 from the PlayStation Store, and Sony, Microsoft, and CD Projekt would be forced to offer full refunds for the game. 3. Consequently, CD Projekt would suffer reputational and pecuniary harm. And 4. As a result, defendant statements about its business, operations, and prospects were materially false and misleading and or lacked a reasonable basis at all relevant times. When the true details entered the market, the lawsuit claims that investors suffered damages. End quote. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are CDPR innocent? Have they come across as completely transparent and squeaky clean throughout the development process of Cyberpunk 2077? But most importantly, and the question that really matters, especially with regard to this legal settlement, was Cyberpunk 2077 the game you were promised it would be? I know nothing about legal proceedings, but I just thought this was worth reporting on. I'd love, and I seriously do mean love, to hear people's opinions surrounding this lawsuit and its apparent settlement in the comments. Whether you're loving the game, whether you're hating the game, your opinions and thoughts are always welcome. Also, an important note here, it doesn't seem like this whole settlement has actually been approved by the court yet. Another portion of CDPR's statement reads, quote, "As a follow-up to the term sheet, the company, the other defendants named in the case, and the plaintiffs shall draw up a document which formalizes the settlement agreement. Subsequently, but not later than, on 13th January 2022, the plaintiffs shall petition the court for preliminary approval of the settlement, which will not be opposed by the company or the other defendants named in the case. It is expected that further steps will involve 1. The court's preliminary ruling on whether to approve the settlement agreement. 2. Notifying members of the class. 3. The court's final ruling on whether to approve the settlement agreement. According to information received by the company, the above procedure is expected to conclude in several months." End quote. So this is still not 100% set in stone yet, although it likely will just go through without any significant roadblocks. I don't see this being dragged out any longer than necessary, but hey, that's just one non-legal expert's opinion. I could be wrong, and until the next video, I'm gonna go cry in the corner because I'll probably only get to see the new Spider-Man movie in a couple of months.